How you doing, everybody? It's Bill Hoy. I'm back again with another video. My YouTube channel's What in the World is Going on One. Pardon me. I'm just really, feeling down, man. I mean, this situation is really dire. This lockdown, and even before this lockdown, our situation is really dire. Our situation meaning we Americans, we humans on this planet. I'll say the name of this video. I think it's going to be something around only a change in consciousness is going to save humanity. And I've touched on this in my videos. A complete and total change in consciousness as far as how we view ourselves and how we view others and how we view our relationship to this planet, and begin to understand that we're a part of nature. Not, it's not about us conquering nature. We're a part of it. And in nature are our natural rights, our natural, immutable, and alienable birthrights endowed by creation. Only until we understand this, we stand no fucking chance, man. We stand no chance. I saw the movie last night, Planet of the Humans. It's Michael Moore, I think, directed the film. And you can argue with a lot of its facts and stuff like that, but the main thing I got from Planet of the Humans was, once again, like I said, only a change in consciousness is going to, I guess I'll say, save humanity. Only an understanding that the current paradigm under the way we're living our lives is unsustainable. Only unless we understand that, and understand that unfortunately we're going to have to make great sacrifices. Every person, and that's another thing I got from the movie, that it comes down to all of us, which is what I've been saying all the while. It comes down to each of us individuals doing what's right, knowing and understanding natural law. It's knowing and understanding natural law, and knowing and understanding that natural law is a part of nature. What is the most important things in this world? What are the most important things in this world? Our rights and our life support systems. Air, soil, water. Then, you could go to food and shelter and stuff like that. Those are the most important things. And you can, go to keeping warm, stuff like that. Those are the most important things. Those are the only things that matter in this world. And I'm just trying to fit this together as best I can. Going back to the Planet of the Humans, the movie. In the movie, it said something that I thought was very important. It said, the release of carbon is not the problem. It's us humans and basically, this isn't a direct quote. And the release of carbon isn't a problem. It's us humans that are the problem. Now, let me first say that the amount of hydrocarbon fuels that we're using to power our way of life, and I'm talking about over the whole scale. I'm not talking about, just, some guy burning wood in his fireplace or something, or I'm not just talking about like myself right now. My heating unit is running and it runs on natural gas. I'm not talking about just that. I'm talking about our over the entire span of what we humans do. Especially, you look at the military-industrial complex, just the U.S., and how much hydrocarbon fuels they use. It is a problem, but I also understand what they're saying there, because it's another thing that I've been saying over, for years, that you have to stop looking at the whole quote-unquote fossil fuel debate and all that stuff. You have to move away from that, because while, yes, the releasing of carbons and methane into our atmosphere is a very big problem, there's so many other things. It's only a part of the problem. It's only the part of the problem. And once again, like the movie said, when you look at all the problems, and of course the movie didn't mention climate engineering programs. The movie didn't, unless I missed something, I'll have to watch it again. I already watched it twice. I'm going to watch it again. Didn't talk about nuclear power. Didn't mention that. I don't think. I'll try again. But all the things we humans are doing is destroying this planet. And once again, folks, our rights are a part of that. Our rights are a part of that. Folks, nothing destroys the environment more than government. The belief in government. The belief in the unification of corporations and the violence of government. The government machine of the military. Folks, all this is destroying our world. All this is destroying our world. Also, like I've been saying for a while in some of my videos, that the whole environmental movement is all compromised. At least at the top. When you look at like Bill McKibben, 350.org, the Sierra Club, Greenpeace, they're all bought and paid for, man. The movie talked a lot about biomass. It was big about biomass, which is not sustainable. What the movie didn't mention is the Tesla technologies. And once again, I'll have to watch again to make sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it didn't mention the Tesla technologies, which these Tesla technologies, free energy, anti-gravitational type propulsion, while Tesla was in its early stages of working with these technologies very likely could be applicable to small communities or individuals. But once again, it's these technologies are not going to power this society that we're living. And they made a good point also in the movie, talking about the whole pipe dream that renewable energy is going to power Disney World and all these, the stupidity of these water parks out in these mountainous regions. Our whole society is unsustainable. And I'll tell you right now, these cruise ships, I can't stand these cruise ships, man. These cruise ships are just ocean pigs. Not to mention now with this whole virus going on, basically like giant floating petri dishes. You go on a cruise ship, you're out of your mind. if you can. I don't know. You couldn't point a gun at me and get me on a cruise ship. It has to be a change in consciousness. You can, so many people just want to just bicker and bicker and bicker and oh, well, look what you're doing. Right now, like I said, my hot water baseboard heating unit just came on and it runs on natural gas. Look what you're doing. You're a hypocrite. You know what, man? Look, I'm trying my best to work to align myself with natural law and align myself with nature and get away from polluting activities. I want to mention also, the movie also talked about all these politicians, your typical scapegoat, Al Gore, which he's a garbage bag. Don't get me, he's full of shit. I mean, look, politicians are not going to save us, folks, from anything. Politics is not going to save us. Politicians are not going to save us. And, everyone has their politician. Oh, this politician, he's a good guy. Well, guess what, folks? Maybe there are some politicians out there that have some, good values and stuff like that. But they're not going to save us, folks. I'll give an example like Ron Paul. He's one of your more good value-based, good moral value-based politicians, but he can't save us, folks. Ron Paul can't save us. We have to save ourselves, and it has to start on the individual level. Fighting for our rights has to start on an individual level. Aligning ourselves with natural law has to start on an individual level. Aligning ourselves with nature has to start on an individual level. It's hard, folks. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say that this is easy. I'm not going to say that this is easy. This is hard for me. This is really hard for me. That was the point of the Planet of the Humans. All this has to start on an individual level. So, I mean, nobody wants to take a look at themselves. They always just, whenever somebody comes out and says, hey, we got to start focusing on our natural rights and trying to align our lives with natural law. We got to start focusing on aligning ourselves, with nature. People just want to just point out, I guess, our deficiencies, I guess, in that department, and instead of just looking at themselves and just saying, what do I have to do in my life? Don't worry about me. Don't worry about what I'm doing. Worry about what you're doing. So that Planet of the Humans was good. I thought it was a good movie. I thought it hammered a couple things home. I had some more things on my mind, but kind of got intermeshed. I got intermeshed with the politicians. The politicians, folks. Politicians, not going to save us. No savior's coming to save us, folks. We have to save ourselves. God helps those who help themselves. Okay? I'm not religious, but that's natural law right there. God helps those who help themselves. help themselves in a good way, not help themselves to someone else's earnings or someone else's resources. Not that kind of help ourselves, help themselves. Helping themselves meaning defending their own rights themselves, working to align themselves with nature themselves. That's what it means. Working to align themselves with natural law themselves. Not worrying about what other people are doing. And I'm not saying it's not unreasonable to be focused on what's going on around you, what other people are doing. I'm not consumed by what other people are doing. I take note, but I don't get consumed by it. Cat. Daddy, stop. Never listen to me. Only a change in consciousness is going to get us out of this. Only a change in consciousness. So it's kind of sad they didn't. The movie didn't mention climate engineering. They didn't mention Tesla Technologies, to my knowledge. But it was a good movie. A must watch. And once again, you can argue with their facts and all that. Everything's debatable. And sure, plenty of people have debunked it already. But I can tell you this. The fundamental principle is absolutely sound. And that is, only a change of consciousness is going to save us. That fundamental principle is absolutely sound. Only a change of consciousness. Only, once again, like I said, knowing and understanding natural law, knowing and understanding that that nature's not for us to conquer, nature's a part of us, knowing and understanding that the animals on this planet are sovereign entities as well. Knowing and understanding natural law. Knowing and understanding that there's no saviors. Knowing and understanding that industrialized, militarized society was doomed from the beginning. It was doomed from the beginning, folks. It was doomed from the beginning. Never had a chance. I'm years ago I was studying into that, and I found a lot of quotes from scientists back in the late 1800s, early 1900s saying along the lines of this kind of paradigm, industrialization, is completely unsustainable. Completely unsustainable. Will not last. And they're right. And we're there. We're there now. We are there. And folks, these people who unfortunately run our world because we allow them to, we follow their orders and allow them to mentally manipulate us, know this. I mean, they're coming right out and saying it. Just look up. Activist Post had a couple videos. I'm sure other websites as well. Of Bill Gates, you could probably just type it into like a DuckDuckGo search. Bill Gates talking about how we need to, at one point he said, get the world's population down to almost zero. I mean, and Bill Gates also talked about how the average person on the planet, emits so much carbon dioxide and stuff like that. But what Bill Gates doesn't tell you in that is that your people of second world and third world countries, probably, I'd be willing to bet, this is just a guess, their carbon footprint is, in a day, their carbon footprint in a year is probably less than what we emit in a day. We first world Western countries, your industrialized countries, emit in a day. And it's the second and third world countries that we're genociding. And I said, yeah, we Anglo-Saxons, we Westerners, we Americans. Our U.S. military going over into these countries and just genociding these people in so many different ways. And we're a part of that. We order followers. We're a part of that. We Americans, when we sit back, and not just America, other countries are doing it as well. Once again, your Western countries, Britain, Australia, those kind of countries, and of course, China and Russia. All militaries are murder machines. All militaries are about conquering and taking resources. So it's not just the U.S. military. It's just the U.S. military is the largest military in the world. So I'll talk about this more. I'll start talking about this more. I'll cut out now.